Thank you for checking out crypto.chartguys.com, the source for technical analysis in the cryptocurrency world. We are proud to announce our own crypto alert system designed to give you the most critical technical trading information possible no matter where you are. Keep your eyes on the market with mobile or email alerts for MACD crosses, RSI levels, and even inside bar alerts for dozens of coins across multiple exchanges. New features and proprietary ChartGuys indicators are already in development. Our alert system is very easy to customize and utilize, so don't hesitate to sign up for the most effective crypto trading tool on the market at crypto.chartguys.com. Hey everyone, checking in on the big three now that I'm rested up a bit more. We got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and then we're also going to look at IOT and OMG, which I've been seeing some bullish action over the past couple of days. And going to be talking about correlations. And people ask, why are you charting these altcoins with USD? Well, I trade Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum in USD, and I am concerned only with how they correlate to Bitcoin. That's how I want to see the correlation. And if the Bitcoin USD chart is ingrained in my head and I see it in my sleep, I want to be watching the altcoins and their USD chart to know, are they stronger than Bitcoin? Are they weaker than Bitcoin? Are they seeing similar correlations on the daily timeframes? And I'll go into that a little bit more in depth when I get to these altcoins here towards the end of the analysis. So where we stand in the 4-hour time frame, last night we highlighted the potential for the cup and handle pattern. I talked about my entry into Ethereum, and we saw some bullish follow through. So here on the daily time frame, our higher low is now very, very clearly established. This is now the must hold level. So previously, this was the must hold level, the first higher low on the daily time frame, because it was the clear initial consolidation. This is now clear consolidation, establishing the higher low at 9,324. And if we break that level, it will give us a daily lower high and lower low, which will change the bounce trend from bullish on the bounce back to the bears. So that is a must hold level for as long as it takes for the bulls to get back to higher highs over 11,775. So essentially that's the range, 11,775 to 9,372. And here we are, right in the middle of that range, slightly favoring the bulls. We're about $300 over the midway point, favoring those bulls. So let's look at that 4-hour time frame and get a little bit of a review as where we stood. We had this resistance is what we were watching, 10,494, essentially 10,500. And from there, we were looking at resistance and being unable to break it during the video last night. We consolidated briefly. We saw the bull break and saw some significant follow through all the way up to 10,845. So a nice 3.5% bull move. And the bulls are not done yet. We just had a 4-hour inside bar alert go out. Just got that on my phone with the bull break here over 10,718. And the bulls are making their way back towards the recent high. So the hourly time frame, we have our pullback, the low of the consolidation this morning, and now the bulls trying to recover to make their way back to key 10,845 resistance. If that breaks, 10,900 and 11,000 will be the next two resistances that we look at. So bulls still holding on, and at this point, it would require a break of 10,464, this consolidation low, for the bulls to lose the momentum that they currently have and have been holding from yesterday's bull break. So that's where we stand on Bitcoin, still favoring the bulls, but tightening up here on the hourly and that daily chart. If you're a swing trader, that's what you're watching. So if I'm a swing trader right now, if I'm in a position, I have a stop loss below this level, and I am looking for a break of 11,775 for continuation. And how this is shaping up on the weekly chart is just fine for the bulls. We had a bearish reversal candlestick last week, and it is not being confirmed this week. So daily chart just fine as long as this low holds. Checking in on Ethereum. So the 4-hour time frame, again, actually let's start with the daily. So the daily is has a long way to go to get back to our recent high at 983. And you can see that where we stand, the high of today, 894, is $100 below that level. And we got up to 786. So it is about right in the middle here as well. Just visually looking at Bitcoin on the daily time frame and looking at Ethereum, they are roughly right in the middle of their key support and resistance level. It was just a more pronounced pullback on Ethereum. So must hold support from here on out is 786, and that's essentially right where we were, 780 on that daily must hold previously, so almost hit the same point. And again the must break level, 983 for continuation. 4-hour time frame, same little cup and handle like pattern that we saw where we had key resistance here up at 883.89. This is the consolidation that was going on last night and entered on the bull break of an hourly time frame. We'll look at that in just a moment, but the bull break followed through and still forming 4-hour higher lows. That's what the bulls their goal is. Keep forming 4-hour higher lows, and the daily will take care of itself. The daily chart will remain bullish as long as the 4-hour time frame is higher lows and higher highs. So looking at the hourly chart, I did make my bullish entry when 872 broke, and I believe that was an inside bar bull break, and then we saw some follow through. So let's see. Don't need to find that exact point, but it was multiple inside bars breaking bullish, and then we saw the follow through overnight. So this is my point. I talked about yesterday how Polo was bought out, and I'm looking for a superior exchange that can give me the functionality of trading that I'm used to, trading stocks with OCO orders where I can place a stop loss order and a sell limit order at the same time. I know there are some exchanges that can do this, and there's some applications that can do this, but this should be widespread, and it cost me money last night. Certainly, the sense that I had to sleep with a stop loss order in to feel safe and protected, but I easily would have had, I would have taken some position off at 879. I would have taken some position off at 889 and locked in some profit on this move. So because I couldn't do that, I woke up this morning and it was on this pullback, and I ended up having to take some profit here on the bounce, and then ended up getting stopped out half of my position here when this double bottom down at 876 broke. So essentially money was left on the table because I couldn't put in the orders that I wanted to, because I had to have a stop loss in while I slept in order to be able to sleep. So that's just, again, one of the reasons I'm looking forward to an exchange that can give me everything that I'm used to as a normal stock trader on a normal brokerage. And you better believe that there's a lot of traders out there who are waiting and will be much quicker to adopt trading these assets once the exchanges are meeting their standards. So that's where we stand on Ethereum. Again, hourly time frame trying to shift. It's a lower high, lower low pattern on the hourly. We need a higher low and a higher high. The 4-hour inside bar on Ethereum just broke bullish, just barely. Not a very significant follow through of the bull break yet. And you can see Bitcoin, again, just comparatively, 4-hour inside bar broke bullish, and we're right near the top of the move. Ethereum 4-hour inside bar broke bullish, still a ways away from 894 resistance. So Bitcoin is definitely showing us a little bit more strength comparative to Ethereum. Litecoin also made a bull break of the 4-hour inside bar, but let's start with the daily time frame. So we have our high, our low, our lower high on the daily, and the bulls are trying to form a higher low compared to 182.55. If that's going to be at 212.10, that would be great for the bulls. That would be a very significant higher low, keeping the bulls in control. So right now, the range of the last 2 days is the key short-term range, 212.10 support and 231.50 resistance. Those are the two levels that I'm keeping an eye on. The 4-hour chart, inside bar just broke bullish at 217.34. So 4-hour inside bar alerts going out all just recently. And you can see this consolidation on the 4-hour time frame is just tightening. We do have a little higher low, and we also have clear lower highs. So we're looking for a break of this tightening pattern, and you can see the volume is dropping off while we're in this tightening pattern. And if we see a bull break over 222.85, we should see a spike in volume and see the bulls make their way up back towards 230 or so. So overall, all three of these bulls are looking just fine on the 4-hour time frame, which means we're looking just fine on the daily time frame. If we lose the 4-hour higher low pattern, we will then be looking for the potential of a daily equilibrium pattern to form. So here on Bitcoin, the daily chart, that would mean we form a lower high, 4-hour higher lows get lost, and we pull back to form a higher low. And losing the 4-hour higher lows on any of these three names would indicate a daily equilibrium pattern is likely forming, in my opinion. So let's check in on these altcoins that have been seeing some action. So IOT USD on Bitfinex has had 5 bull days in a row, and we're in a similar pattern to Bitcoin. Again, I'm always comparing to what the Bitcoin chart is doing. I can see that our must-hold higher low on the daily broke, not by a significant amount, but it did break. So that shifts the odds a little bit more bearish. It was a little bit more bearish than Bitcoin, and now it's trying to play catch up, and it's making its way up towards resistance of 221. Break of 221 would be bullish, breaking the top of the bounce to this point. And if we look on the weekly time frame, again, it's a potential bear flag. And if we break to a higher high, that will decrease the odds that it is a bear flag fairly significantly. So bulls really want to break to a higher high on the daily time frame, and they're trying to get up to that level. Again, same thing. If we lose the 4-hour higher low pattern, which the most recent higher low was 186, lose the 4-hour higher low pattern, and the odds of a daily equilibrium pattern forming will be likely. So it's all about 4-hour higher lows for the bulls to maintain their strength. OMG USD on the daily time frame, bull break. So I can look at this chart and say instantly, this is a stronger chart than Bitcoin because we had the high of the bounce, and even the high of the bounce was more significant. This was the must-hold level on the initial consolidation. We then formed a higher low and got our bull break to a higher high. And the big three bulls are looking at this chart longingly and saying, this is what I want my chart to look like. And all of their daily charts right now, again, if this were any of the big three, right now OMG would be trading at about 1810. And here we are up at 1979 because we broke bullish. So essentially we're not in the middle of the range on the daily because we broke bullish already. So there's some different reasons, little news reasons that could be behind this bull action. But another thing that I want to point out is a comparison. So let's compare on the same chart, Bitcoin to OMG. So OMG is going to be in the forefront and Bitcoin's here in the background. So look at that correlation on this pullback and on the bounce. It is a very significant correlation. You cannot deny that we are tracking Bitcoin. But one thing that I want to mention, look at this Bitcoin pullback and compare it to OMG. So I can say that OMG was more bullish than Bitcoin on this pullback, not because it was going green when Bitcoin was pulling back, but because it was not pulling back as much. So it's, normally you think if something's stronger than something else, it's going to be more green. Something can be stronger than something else because it's less red. So here's an example where we did not pull back as much, and then when the bulls showed up in Bitcoin, the correlation was able to propel the OMG bulls to a higher high because we had less distance to cover to get to that resistance because we did not pull back as significantly. So that's the notable difference here, the divergence where bulls held on and Bitcoin pulled back more significantly, which means Bitcoin has further to bounce before it gets to that higher high. OMG already there and knocking it out. Weekly time frame, more significant bounce. So let's get rid of this now. And the weekly time frame, equilibrium pattern is anticipated by me. I'm looking for our all-time high, our low of the pullback, and I'm looking for a lower high to form here, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen soon as we just made a bull break on the daily. That lower high could happen at $22, $24. So it's just something to keep an eye on that more likely than not, unless there's some significant bull news to give us volume to break this pattern just from a low straight to a higher high, I would anticipate an equilibrium on the weekly time frame for OMG to form. 4-hour time frame, inside bar forming on OMG, a little bit overextended. RSI got over 70 and looking for potential consolidation, but it will be healthy consolidation as the last 4-hour higher low all the way down in the mid $17 range. So that's where we stand as we head into tonight. And again, swing trader or day trader, depends on what you're watching. Swing trader, you're watching those daily levels I highlighted. And for a shorter term trader, you're watching to see, can the bulls break the recent high of this move and see continuation to higher highs? Again, Bitcoin following through, making its way towards that resistance. Ethereum has further to go. And keep an eye on Litecoin. It's more of a loaded spring. And what I mean by that is this consolidation has been playing out longer term and it's tighter. So if this 4-hour breaks on Litecoin and we see a Bitcoin bull break to continuation over 11,000 as well, we could look at Litecoin seeing a more significant percentage gain in terms of the follow through. So that's what we've got. I appreciate you all watching. Continue to do good things. I certainly enjoy reading about what you all are doing out there in the world. Another important note is I wore my Ethereum sweatshirt all around 3 major airports for 14 hours in the US and in Canada yesterday, and I got one comment. So hundreds of people passed, maybe even thousands of people. I'm sure thousands of people weren't reading my sweatshirt, but certainly hundreds of people saw what my sweatshirt said, and only one security guy mentioned it, and he said he doesn't have anything in crypto. It's just something he hears a lot about. So that just gives you another general perspective in terms of adoption and things like that, which I continually am amazed at how little recognition there is. So again, we're in a little bit of a bubble when we're online here in all these different groups and with all these different traders. Out in the real world, much different story. Appreciate you watching. See you tomorrow.